My mom and I are gonna drop off some books at a used bookstore, so my car is all packed up with bags. I'm not sure how much I'm gonna be able to vlog, but I'm gonna try. Hello everyone, I am in my childhood room because I am unexpectedly still at my parents' house. I was supposed to be back at my own apartment by now, but that's okay. We're just starting the readathon here, and I think you saw the little clip before this of going to the bookstore. I didn't find anything at the bookstore, unfortunately. I was looking for Stephen King books, and the ones they had were really beat up, and I wasn't paying as much as they wanted for a super beat up book when I could pay the same price for a new paperback. Maybe that seems like cheap, but I don't know, I'm kind of particular about my books sometimes. So yeah, I didn't find anything there, and then we went to visit my grandma. But now I've changed into PJs and I'm just in time to go to the live show for the reading sprints on Jessica Nicole Dickerson's channel. So I'm going to log on there and finally read something. The only book I brought with me is The Anthropocene Reviewed by John Green. So maybe I'll finally finish this in the next day or two. My cat got to the tassel, so I had to rip that away from him before I came down here because I made the bookmark in here. So yeah, this is a collection of essays rating various aspects of the Anthropocene, or the human world. So it's very interesting, but it's been a bit of a challenge to get through because of the format being essays. It's very similar to the podcast if you have listened to that. But I have this as a physical book for the next few days while I'm here. I am driving back on Wednesday, so it is Sunday right now. And I also have the audiobook of Felix Ever After to start. And I have a few other audiobooks as well. And I also have books on Libby and on Scribd, so I'm fine as far as books go, but I'm busier than I anticipated being down here, so I'm not sure how much I'll be reading these first few days, but I'll make up for it at the end of the week. Reading fuel. Side note, check out the ceiling I made my freshman year of college. Hello everyone, it is day 2 of the readathon and I have done 0 reading today so far, but I did start Felix Ever After last night, as well as reading about 30 pages of The Anthropocene Reviewed. Today my mom and I had a lot of errands to run, so I didn't really vlog any of that. But we did go to a thrift store and I picked up this book by Stephen King. It is The Dark Tower and the Gunslinger, and this version has some colored illustrations in it as well, which I think is really interesting. And it also has some just black and white illustrations, but there's one of the colored ones. I know the lighting is terrible in here, but we're gonna make do for now. And I can tell this book is old because on the back it says, "Watch for the Plume publication of the second novel of the Dark Tower series, The Drawing of the Three, in March 1989. So maybe eventually I can find that edition of the sequel book. I don't know. But I don't think I'll be reading this during this readathon, but I am happy to have it. I've been really into Stephen King lately. Tonight, my plan is to read more of Felix Ever After, and first I'm gonna shower and put on the new PJs I bought at TJ Maxx. They're really cute. I also got a pair of fuzzy socks. Love me some fuzzy socks. But yeah, the PJs, I've already washed them. Here I got just a pair of pink shorts and then this little top, and you probably can't see it, but it says relax, refresh, reconnect. So yeah, I think that'll be cute, and I don't have a lot of summer PJs, so perfect. So yeah, I'm gonna go shower. I'm going to put those on and hopefully get through a bit more of Felix Ever After, because I believe my loan is due in like a day and a half. So really need to get on that today and tomorrow. I am enjoying Felix Ever After, however, I can tell that it's meant to be for a high school audience, if that makes sense. It's definitely focusing on high school and preparing to get into college at the moment. And there's also a bit more drama than I was expecting, which is, I think, a good thing because it keeps things interesting and is keeping the plot moving a bit. So yeah, I am interested to see more of the story and how everything turns out in the end, because some of the characters are frustrating me a little bit at the moment, but I think that will get better throughout the story. Fingers crossed I can get through that quickly. Definitely not getting as much reading done as I was hoping to, but that's okay. I got this big set of King Art gel pens, so I'm going to use some of these in my bullet journal while I watch JND's daily vlog. Hello, I am sorry it is so dark in here. It is day 3 of the readathon, well, night 3, and I finished my first book today, and that was Felix Ever After, and I finished it just in time, like in the nick of time for it to be due back to the library, because I borrowed it through my Libby app. I borrowed the audiobook, and I had like an hour left to listen to, and I had 2 hours left before the book was due, so I was on a bit of a time crunch, but I got it done and I really enjoyed it. I give it 4 out of 5 stars. It was different than what I expected, but it was also very good. There's a lot of high school drama in it, which could either be a good thing or a bad thing, depending on what your taste is. I found it interesting, and I really enjoyed the sort of self-discovery journey that our main character went on. I'm trying not to give away too much about the book, but I'm trying to give you a sense of what it's about. But anyways, I really enjoyed that, and I think I'm going to be starting Blackout tomorrow. I have about a 3-hour car ride to make, so I'm thinking of listening to either that or Rise to the Sun by Leah Johnson. So I'm thinking Blackout should be the top priority since it's the group book, and I'm really looking forward to that one. So yeah, I think I'll just pop it in the car on my drive, and then hopefully the rest of this week I will be making more progress more quickly. I've kind of had to work around my parents' schedule, which is fine, but it's just not what I was expecting, and I'm kind of used to doing my own thing. So tomorrow I will be heading back home, and I will have a bit more time, I think, for reading. You happy I'm home, bud? He's so cute. waving. Good morning. It is Friday. That means it is the second to last day of the readathon, and it's going to be the first day I'm actually properly vlogging, which is sad. I mean, I did get some clips while I was down at my parents', and then Wednesday was just like travel day, but I did listen to 60% of Blackout then, and I am really enjoying it. I only listened to a little bit more of it yesterday, and I'm going to hopefully finish that today. So plans for today are to A, finish Blackout, 2, start and maybe potentially finish Peaches, and 3, Rise to the Sun by Leah Johnson. So yeah, I've got a lot of stuff to do. I have the audiobook of Rise to the Sun through Scribd, so that's kind of my plan for that, is to be the book I can listen to whilst doing other things, and then Peaches I'll have to sit down and physically read. So I might not actually get to this until later on, but that's all right. We've waited this long, what's another few hours? And then if I do happen to finish this, I have the sequel to this, and then I found the third one through Scribd as well. So if you are interested and you have Scribd, these are on there, all 3 of them as ebooks, and I do have a link in the description if you're curious about Scribd. So yeah, that's my plan for today. I kind of just woke up. I have barely had any of my coffee yet, so I've got some things to do and then read. So let's get on with the day. Who's the boss, kitty? He's a wee bit feisty this morning. Sorry if this is a weird angle. I'm trying to go where the lighting is decent. Actually, maybe if I... Yeah, that's way less yellow, and I'm right next to the window. So I just finished listening to Blackout. It's like, what is it? It's like 9:30, and Blackout was so cute. I know I haven't talked too much about the books I've been reading. I will do a little wrap up at the end of the vlog completely, but Blackout was so adorable. I loved like every single story in it, and it wasn't split up into like the individual stories like I thought it was going to be. It was split up into different acts, and then they kind of all mixed together, but then you came back to the story at different times throughout the other acts, if that makes sense. So the whole book takes place during a blackout in New York City, and it follows different Black teenagers, and there's a lot more queer representation than I thought was going to be in the book, which I think is fantastic. Yeah, you just kind of follow these different teenagers falling in love, struggling with their identities, just super cute little romance stories that I loved. And I think I had mentioned in my TBR that sometimes with these short story collections, I end up not being able to get to know the characters well enough, and I don't really get as invested in the story just because it is so much shorter, but I had no problem with this one. It was fantastic. All the authors did a great job of kind of tying everything together, and I just loved this. I think I'm gonna give it 4 out of 5 stars. I think, yeah, overall, like, I loved this book. It was a great read. Definitely recommend. I am back in the bathroom. Sorry if you can hear the laundry going, but I wanted to show you what I've got set up. So I am currently going to be working on a t-shirt quilt. So I'm going to be ironing on the fusible interfacing to the backs of my t-shirts to make them a bit sturdier to sew together into a quilt. And I'm just going to be working on this while listening to Rise to the Sun. I also have some shirts that have, you know, seen better days, so to speak. They're not really white anymore. So I'm going to give them a little OxyClean bath. Perfect. Can just keep soaking for a few hours. Look at how much whiter everything came out. I am thrilled. I know this one was really bad and it's still like a little bit yellow, but that's fine. I just didn't want it to look completely disgusting. So it's better than it was, and I'll probably end up washing it another time before making my quilt. I ran out of my fusible interfacing, so I'm gonna have to buy more before I can finish that, but I have to buy my like backing fabric and batting and probably a rotary cutter before I can work on the rest of the quilt. And I do plan on making a video over on my art channel once I've actually got it put together. It might be a long time because I'm not sure if I want to do it by hand. I've done that before and it takes a really long time to quilt anything by hand, even if it's just sewing squares of t-shirts together. But I'm still trying to decide what I want to do. There's a few people in my life who have sewing machines that I may borrow. But yeah, I will document that over on my other channel. I am now on chapter 35 in Rise to the Sun, and I am really enjoying it. It's a lot different than what I expected, but I kind of went in with not a lot of expectations other than I was expecting to enjoy the story because I had enjoyed You Should See Me in a Crown so much when I read that book by the same author. So I feel like I can tell by the style that it's the same author, but these characters feel really well fleshed out. They have their own backstory, their own struggles in life, and everything is really well written. I'm enjoying the romances that are kind of sort of happening. So yeah, I don't want to spoil too much. Maybe in my Goodreads review I'll do spoilers if you're interested, but I'm hoping to finish that today, and then that can be the book that I've read in one day, and then maybe tonight I can start Peaches. I'm not sure though, because my boyfriend and I started watching Virgin River, and like I am so invested. I think we're only to like the 5th episode, but like I am into it. If you liked Gilmore Girls, I think you would like Virgin River. It's kind of got the same small town drama vibe going on. Anyway, I feel like I had a pretty productive day, did a lot of laundry, used up all of the quilting interfacing. This is all I have left, is these little scraps from the end. And I also cleaned up the kitchen a little bit. So at least I've done some things while listening, which has been fun. But yeah, really enjoying the book. Need to know how it ends. Okay, everyone, I am back to wrap everything up. I was going to film this in the bedroom, but I can't find where I put my tripod, so this vlog is all sorts of a mess, and that's fine. We're just gonna do it here. So let's see. Throughout the readathon, I finished 3 books, which is pretty good. Not what I was hoping to achieve, but 3 books in a week is a lot for me. I'm lucky to read one book per week, which is my goal for the year, to read one book per week. So 3 books in 1 week is really good. So the first book I completed was Felix Ever After, and I listened to the audiobook for that. And that was to complete the challenge First Blush, which was to read a queer romance. In this book, we follow Felix Love, who has never before been in love, and he is a trans boy who is in high school and thinking about his future and struggling a little bit with his identity when some things go down at the school. I'm trying not to give away too much of the plot, but I feel like that's a good sort of baseline because I kind of went into it without knowing even that much, to be honest. And I ended up giving it 4 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. There is definitely quite a bit of high school drama, which I found really interesting, but might be a little bit annoying for other people. And I really enjoyed how Felix kind of found himself throughout the book and became a little bit more comfortable with the labels he's decided to use for himself. It was a really cute romance story, and I really liked the focus on accepting yourself and kind of finding your true identity and self. There was a lot of growth that happened in this story. The second book I read was Blackout by various authors. I will pop the picture up here. And this book followed several different Black teen romances during a blackout in New York City. And let me tell you, I loved every single one of the romances. I just thought they were so cute, so well done, very thoroughly thought out characters. Each had like a backstory that made sense for them. None of them felt really like shallow, I guess. They were really well fleshed out, and I loved every single story. This was broken down into acts rather than cut into the stories themselves, so do be aware of that if you plan on picking it up. But I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. If you're looking for a fun contemporary group of romance stories, I definitely recommend picking this one up. It was so cute. This could definitely count as the heartwarming book. I chose it for Dawnbreaker, which was the buddy read, because it was the group pick for the readathon, and I'm so glad this one was chosen. I mean, I loved The Poet X also. I read that last year, so definitely pick that one up too if you haven't already. But I think this was a great choice for this readathon. And then the third book that I completed during the readathon was Rise to the Sun by Leah Johnson, and I will put that up here. This was the book I decided to read for the prompt about a 5-star prediction. This ended up being 4 out of 5 stars, I think. Maybe more like 4.5 out of 5. It just wasn't quite there, but I still really loved this story. In this book, we follow 2 friends that are going to a music festival, and one has just experienced a really terrible breakup. The circumstances behind it could be considered triggering, so do be aware of that. This book does have trigger warnings at the beginning, so if you know there might be something there, check those out before picking up the book or before reading through the whole book. Definitely, take care of yourself. So these 2 friends are at this festival hoping to have a friend's weekend when they run into another girl, and it turns out these 2 girls need each other's help. So the girl they bump into has recently lost her father, and they used to come to this music festival like every year together. We're really into music, and she is hoping that if she wins the contest, she'll know if music is what she's meant to do with her life. And so they decide to help each other out, and it's a really fun kind of a romance, kind of just a fun contemporary, very deep, very powerful. There's a lot of emotional things that go on in the book. So yeah, be aware of that if that's not something you like. I really enjoyed it. So I gave it the 4 out of 5 stars. Really good. Definitely recommend. And I did also want to quickly mention that I did read like 30 pages of The Anthropocene reviewed by John Green. I am still really enjoying this book. I'm kind of slowly making my way through it because I think it's been more fun to read like one essay and take a break, and then maybe read another essay later on, take a break, and really like get to think about what was talked about. I also love the podcast, so maybe that's also why. I'm kind of splitting it up a little bit because it feels a little bit like episodes rather than a book that follows some sort of plot. Everything is different. Each essay covers a different topic, so they don't necessarily go together, but the book as a whole fits together really well so far. I am on page 138. It is the chapter about the yips. So I will continue working my way through this. And the next book that I do plan on picking up is Peaches, because I ended up not getting around to this because my boyfriend and I ended up going to a sunflower festival and on a little hike. So that's how my weekend went, and no regrets. The sunflowers were gorgeous and they had a variety garden. I had no idea there were so many different types of sunflowers. I really loved these chocolate ones that were like red, and they also had ones called Ring of Fire where it was like yellow on the outside and red in the center, and they were just so pretty. I also got some sunflowers to put in my vase on my table, and so far my cat has left them alone. So fingers crossed they stay that way. He likes to get into things, but I told him these are for looking, not for chewing on, and I think he got the memo. I think the Sunflower Festival ended up being like the perfect ending to the Sunshine Readathon, to be honest. What could be more sunshiny than walking around a field of sunflowers? So let me know if you participated, what you read, what you would like to read next if you didn't participate. And thank you so much for watching. I will see you in my next video. Bye!